All right, can y'all hear me now? Is that better? Can you hear me now? Okay, we on now. We on now. All right, bet. You still can't hear? We just checked YouTube. I think it's on now, Queen. Yeah, it should be on now. All right, there we go. Uh, hey, Yahoo to the family. Uh, this one of them ones. Hit the like, hit the share. Tell everybody. This one of them ones. I just didn't. Woo, woo. It's gonna get difficult tonight. It's gonna get difficult for a lot of people. But I think I'm finna get up off Facebook, and I might finna go to TikTok and see if we can get it cracking over there. This but the first thing I was gonna deal with is and I'm gonna make it brief, but a lot of people don't like when I talk like what I'm finna talk like. uh, but it is what it is. So in Black news today, DC Young Fly killed his. I mean, DC Young Fly wife died. So I know y'all think that's lousy. Whatever I would say that. I just think it's lousy that y'all can't look at him and see it in him. That's what I think is lousy. Y'all always make me be Captain Obvious. Um, when y'all gonna learn about these celebrities passing away? These celebrity loved ones passing away while they climbing to the top. Now, she went to go get the BBL or some type of surgery. Haven't we heard that before? Haven't we heard that scenario where somebody is on the top of the rise to fame and one of their loved ones went for surgery and never came back? Have we heard that somewhere before? Maybe not. Y'all know I be reaching. Y'all know I be reaching. So it's all kind of mixed messages and signals. They saying it's certain people saying something about strangulation, but they don't want to tell nobody. Then I heard people say that that's a rumor because ain't no autopsy report been put out yet. So I don't know, but all I know is she left for the BBL surgery or some type of plastic cosmetics, and they found her dead in a hotel room, which is confusing to me because if you go to get surgery on your buttocks, how you end up dead in the hotel room and they blame it on the surgery? But I don't know. It get confusing when y'all deal with these celebrity folk. Um, and then the doctor who was administering the surgery or allegedly supposed to or whatever, he's got all kind of fucking malpractice suits and shit for performing bogus surgeries. So he's not even supposed to be doing no surgeries. And like, why is I don't understand these dudes, man. I don't understand these dudes. The man got a beautiful wife. Beautiful wife. Why is she going to get surgery on anything? And why would you agree to that? These dudes be weird, man. That's why I don't trust it. I don't trust that. You super weird looking at that woman and saying, you know what? I think you need to get some cosmetic surgery. Come on, bro. You a weirdo or you up to something? Pick one. You're weird, you're super duper fucking weirdo, or you up to something. But Y'all don't be looking at shit like that. Y'all just think like, it's her body. If that's what she wanted to do to make herself feel right, then she got that right. Yeah, whatever. I mean, she do. She does. She did. But why do we always miss the freaking point? That's the part I don't understand. Like, did he do something strange for the change? Did DC do something strange for the change? I don't know. I know y'all will never agree to that though. So it's just my thoughts. Just my thoughts, and I'm thinking them. But I keep telling y'all, when you get into that space of high opportunity and big bags of money, it gets extremely weird. And I just don't know why. Well, I guess I do know why, because we too caught up in it to actually really see it for what it is. But that's why y'all gotta hop on. You gotta hop on this Patreon. Um, we only asking for $5 donations. Join the Patreon. You get we got a 250 plus videos up there talking about everything you can imagine. If you can think of a topic besides like astrophysics or some shit that I haven't reached, I probably give you a free month or some shit. We have left no stone unturned, and tonight is about to hurt. I need. I should have invited every Christian I know. That would have really got the party popping. Where the Christians at? Let's see if we can go on. We ain't rocking with Facebook right now. The book ain't talking about nothing. We going to the. We going to the. Hold on. Oh. Hold on. Yeah, TikTok. We about to TikTok through this thing.
Good morning. My name is Eric Adams. I am not a dietitian, not a doctor, not a nutritionist.
Well, what are you,
I'm a
Eric?
retired member of the New York City Police Department.
Hold on.
For 22 years, I wore a bulletproof vest to protect.
Let's do it, y'all. How do we go? Damn, I should know this. I forgot. How you go live on this thing? Let's go live on this thing. And then we're gonna get to the real party. I just wanna hold on. Anybody know how to go live on TikTok?
Children and families of New York. 5.7.
Anybody know how to go live on TikTok? Oh, there we go. There we go. Go live. Switch to a different network. We ain't got no different network. This is as good as it get. This is as good as it get. We about to switch the thing over. Hold on. Can I oh yeah, flip it. Flip the screen. Oh, back. I should have been doing it like this, standing it up instead of that sideways shit. It looked way better. All right. There we go. What are we doing? 2, 1, huh. There we go. You can now receive requests. What up, TikTok world? I know y'all gonna not let me curse that much, so tonight I'm gonna be on my best behavior. Cross my fingers. Scout's honor or something like that. So now this the thing right here. And I messed up, y'all, because I had a title on here. And the title was supposed to be Is Yahweh the Devil? And I forgot to throw the title up there, and it shows because I really didn't get my usual numbers. But I think I just got to be on there more because I don't be up here that much. I got to start getting busier. But that's what we're gonna deal with. We're gonna deal with who is the God of the Bible, and I got a lot of information and some real live correlations that we're gonna take. We're gonna take the Bible and real live incidents, and we're gonna make this make sense, because what you really be seeing is the same deities being talked about throughout all of these religious pantheons. So you'll see the same thing, just generations. They switch the name, titles, and mostly the names, because you got all of these different cultures. Now each culture wants you to believe that they got the genuine thing. So they're going to tell you the story from their version. And like I said, they're going to switch the deity, switch the names, switch the heroes, this, that, and the third. But that's when you have to really, I tell y'all all the time, you have to study outside of the Bible to understand what's inside of the Bible. So if your information doesn't start in other sources, then you're not going to really be able to understand what you're reading, because the lesson that they're giving you in Sunday school is not even close to what's going on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to play. Let me see here. Let me find it, y'all. We're going to play the TikTok, and then we're going to deal with it. And we're going to deal with your boy Elon today too. Wait a minute, that might, did I get it? I hope I got it. I think I might not have, though. I'm gonna be mad if I didn't. Yeah, we're gonna deal with Elon today too. Not heavy, because I'm gonna do a whole thing on Elon. It's something y'all need to see. But I'm a crack. Oh yeah, I'm good. We're gonna crack the tip of the iceberg today. And then we're gonna get real jazzy and deal with them. Hold up. All right, here we go, right here. Y'all family, it's the General. And tonight's story begins with, don't even matter. Let's just get to it.
My understanding is that the DNA tends to show that there is a reasonably close relationship between Canaanites and Israelites, which isn't surprising, right? Canaanites and Israelites were the same people, basically. So I think that there is genetic evidence linking present-day Jews and ancient Canaanites in a way that is logical to me.
In the ancient gods, Reverend James avers that Yahweh was possibly a minor Canaanite god named Yahu or Yo. Thus, says he, on a cuneiform tablet at Tanakh, dated between 2000 and 3000 BC. The volcano, like any other impressive or fearful aspect of nature, had become an object of worship for human beings from the time of the earliest Stone Age. In Jewish theology, Yahweh came to dominate the extensive ancient pantheon, originating as a local tribal volcano and fire god, to become the god of the cosmos.
And see, this is the reason why Moses is always depicted next to a mountain, which is literally a volcano. El spoke to Moses saying, I am Yahweh. I appeared to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob as El of the wilderness, but by my name Yahweh I did not make myself known to them.
Yahweh was originally the god of the storm or the volcano, whereas the god of the Israelites, Allah, was a sky god. The god of Judah was originally a volcano god, which is well attested in the Bible. This volcano god was known as Yahweh, spelled Y-H-W-H. Exodus 24:17 to the Israelites, the glory of the Lord looked like a consuming fire on top of the mountain. Exodus 13:21 and the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of a cloud, to lead them the way, and by night in a pillar of fire, to give them light, to go by day and night.
The moon god in the old Phoenician Canaanite system, the moon god in Cana was called Sin, S-I-N. That was the name of the moon god. And in the ancient Phoenician Canaanite language, which we today call Hebrew, Hebrew is actually the Phoenician Canaanite language. The word for a mountain is Ai. And the ancient Phoenician Canaanite, Ai was a word for the mountain. So the mountain of the moon god was Sin, and the mountain is Ai. So they put it together and becomes Sinai. Mount Sinai is nothing more than the mountain of the moon god.
After returning to the command module, the Apollo 12 crew intentionally released the lunar lander, crashing it into the moon's surface. Then something very unexpected happened. Seismic measurements showed that the moon rang like a bell and reverberated for more than an hour. This was with a very small object compared to the size of the moon. So during Apollo 13, an even heavier object was crashed into the surface. This time, the moon rang for over 3 hours, indicating the interior of the moon is not only far less dense, but perhaps has large hollow cavities. The density of the moon is something that's difficult to explain. The moon is about 25% the size of the Earth, but it's only about 1% of the Earth's density. If the moon were a hollow shell, this would explain that. The moon is actually more like a planet than a moon. Because of this near-perfect orbit and its size and distance from the Earth, the moon appears in the sky as almost the exact same size as the sun.
And according to the Bible, what is Satan's number one objective? I will be like the Most High.
And scientists looked at all the evidence and all these coincidences and came to what they felt was the only logical conclusion. And they agreed that their theory sounded crazy, but said not only is the moon hollow, but it's also a spacecraft that traveled here in the distant past.
I keep telling y'all, planets are spaceships, family. Now watch this. As far-fetched or absurd as it may come through, do give it the benefit of the doubt. There's a lot of evidence that shows the moon is not what we have been told it is. There's a lot of evidence that shows there was a time on Earth when there was no moon. NASA has no workable explanation for how our moon came to be in our sky. Ancient human civilizations across multiple continents around the world speak of a time before the moon arrived, and with it so did our ocean tides and seasons and conditions. Now, if that's the case, now let's deal with the ancient flood myth, which occurred in many cultures, including Mesopotamian flood stories, Native American flood stories, the Genesis narrative, Hinduism, Greek mythology, but they all have something in common. The flood myth or deluge myth is a myth in which a great flood, usually sent by a deity or deities, destroys civilizations, often in an act of divine retribution. The Genesis flood narrative is a Hebrew flood myth. This is very important. How Yahweh became God. The Old Testament has several names for God. In Hebrew, God's name varies pending the authorial source. El and Yahweh are the two most common names for God. Remember, Genesis is a Hebrew narrative. It's our most common narrative. So I think we need to look into the Hebrews. It is generally accepted that the Israelites were a branch of Canaanites. The Canaanite pantheon included many gods, the supreme god of the Canaanite pantheon being El.
The Minoans seem to have been part of the same culture as that of the city of Ugarit, both sharing a Canaanite pantheon out of which were derived both the Greek pantheon and the worship of the god known as El, Saturn, with whom the southern deity Yahweh became identified.
So let me see if we can sum this up and make some sense out of it. The wealthiest religion on the planet is these guys, who can trace their lineage back to these guys who worship this God that they sacrifice their children to. And also worship this guy as their supreme deity who ate his children, which essentially was really just this God who brought this ship to our planet, created an enormous cataclysm, flooded the planet, and then started over with these guys. Well, now, so I know that was a lot, but let's just deal with it. So I noticed like this this reemergence of the Hebrew Israelites. Now they've been around since like the 70s. That like as a visible organization. They was around in like the 70s. And it's not that the whole issue was, are the Hebrew Israelites black? The real Jews black and all of that nonsense that we get distracted with. The real everything started out black. So that's just a null and void discussion. But Yahoo Queen. Oh yeah, we about to go real deep, Queen. We about to go real deep. So let's just deal with, see, what we don't do is look into things. So people will say, we the new Jews. And then they'll go to Deuteronomy and get to quoting the same scriptures all the time. And y'all get mesmerized and y'all fall for it. And the thing is, the question needs to be asked, who are the Israelites? That's the $1 million question. And I'm about to paint you a completely different picture than the one you're used to. So the first thing we need to understand is the Israelites, just like, y'all don't start believing till white folks say so. So just like the white man told y'all in the beginning of the video, Hebrew Israelites and Canaanites is the same people. They just stayed on different sides of the place. So it's like they just was on the other side of town. Same people, just different sides of town. So when you looking at the Canaanites, and I've already told y'all, hit the like, hit the share, man. It's people got to hear this. We finna go get heavy. So now I've already told y'all, if you've been rocking with me, people keep arguing up and down, and I'm gonna keep proving it. And today I'm gonna prove it even more. Cain is not Adam's son. Not only that, now here's where I stand corrected. I said that Cain is not Adam's son. The reality is, I don't think Cain or Abel was Adam's son, according to Adam, anyway. According to Adam, Cain or Abel wasn't his kids. See, that's why I tell y'all, you got to go outside of these original textbooks. They tell you it's 66 books missing from the Bible. And you love to quote that. It's 66 books missing from the Bible. But I never hear y'all quoting which books they is and if y'all read them. So I'm gonna give y'all some sources tonight. You can look up the Apocrypha of Adam. The Adam and Eve had their own, they told their own story. It was mostly Adam. This is the information that he chronologued and gave to his son Seth. So the first son that Adam and Eve actually had together was Seth. And so now another thing I keep telling y'all is that the incident in the garden was a sex act. According to Adam, it was rape. I don't be fucking missing. Y'all just think I be bullshitting because my information be so far left field. Y'all be like, that can't be right. I be digging for this shit. Y'all can look it up and find it on your own. We couldn't figure out, they wouldn't let me put the clip up because it's too big. But I was finna play it for y'all tonight. It's the Apocrypha of Adam, or the Apocalypse of Adam. Peace, Queen. Yes, baby. Yes. We about to cook tonight. So I said, let me dig into this and check it out. So that's what I've been on all day. I've been listening to Adam. Now, this is between this is between the 1st and 5th century. These writings was found. And now Adam says, hold up. I keep telling y'all, the God of the Bible is not the God. How many times y'all have heard me say that? 1,000 freaking times. Okay. In the Apocrypha, Adam says himself, the God in the garden is a slave master. He's not the God. This is what Adam tells his son Seth. So now, something else, and I'm gonna tie all this shit together so serious. Something else he says. He talks about what I was gonna say. He talks about that God in the garden is all about creating slaves. And he separated Adam and Eve in the beginning so they could no longer be one thought, one mind. And I'm going to tell y'all something else. I'm going to tell you chauvinistic suckers something else, according to Adam. According to Adam, now, it gets a little confusing in this space right here. So the researcher got to get his or her own interpretation. So here's how I took it. Adam says that this particular God is basically, he said he made them. He created them. But then he says, because in the scripture it says, first God created man and woman, he and she, he made them. Now, the first person who ever taught me that they were talking about a hermaphrodite, where the male and feminine principle was combined into one being. Now, I strayed away from that because I understand that there had to be more than one creation in order for procreation to go to the point where we all not fucking kissing cousins. So when it says God made that first creation in its own image, and we know the beginning of creation is in Africa, then I took that space right there and ran with it. Now, I'm still not sure how I feel, but I'm going to tell you what was in this apocryphy. Adam says that when it says God made man and woman, he and she, he made them, it was one being, both Adam and Eve, but it was one being. Now, according to Adam, this God got jealous because it realized that it had created something greater than it was. Now, he said, then this God separated them so they became two separate beings. And he said, after the God did that, the divinity left them. And they start pondering on nothing really but death. And he knew that they had did the wrong thing, because after that, he could see that their life was about to be numbered. Now, they still live to be 900 or something, so he got away with it. But either way it goes, what's important is that at that point, this God forced himself on Eve and created Cain and Abel. Now, I'm not sure how much of that I completely agree with, but in essence, it's the same thing I teach. Whatever God this is in the garden is not the God. And whatever happened between this God and Eve was a sex act. And I also been telling y'all that Cain is not the child of Adam. And this is why you hear the speech that says, I will put enmity between thee and thy seed. And then the children grow to hate each other. So, but let's identify who this God is, because that's the most important part. We got to figure out what God this is. And we got to understand that the God in the Bible that most of y'all believe in says, put no other gods before me. So the only way I can put other gods before you is if other gods exist. Another thing is this God says, I am a jealous God. Now, y'all find all kind of ways to justify that. But jealousy is one of the 7 deadly sins. So why would God be jealous of its creation unless it's not the God? So now you get Cain, who is banished. And according to Adam, the Garden of Eden was not all, it was beautiful on the inside, but according to Adam, it was armed guards on the inside and the outside. It was like a damn concentration camp type shit. As long as you be good, you all right. So a lot of that jives with these statements that we hear this God making, stressing how jealous he is and this, that, and the third, which makes no sense coming from the God. But now, so after the banishment, Cain goes, like we said, to the land of Nod. The land of Nod is the Caucasus Mountains. Then, yeah, a facility type. But then he starts a tribe called the Canaanites. But now they say he was banished to East of Eden. But East of Eden is, you basically not even in Africa no more. You right there in Turkey on the borderline. You going into the Caucasus Mountains. So they do that on purpose, give it a fancy name, because they don't want you to make the connection where white people came from. But you're going to keep seeing that connection, and I'm finna show you how. So now you got Cain starting the Canaanites. Now, what was the problem with the Canaanites? They start worshiping other gods. Now, this God of the Bible, we still haven't identified, but we're about to. Now, y'all remember, I tell y'all, from an astrological standpoint, you can find these same stories in the heavens, or in the solar system, where the planets is at. So when you say the fall of Satan, and he was banished to earth, you can see that Saturn, which used to be the most beautiful planet in the sky, and became a dwarf star. And a dwarf star is a depleted sun, basically. But it's 3 times the size of a planet. And it's roaming freely throughout the solar system. And where does it go? It latches onto planet Earth. So we say all the time, if you go to a lot of the movies, you'll see those movies that you be standing on the balcony and they can see Saturn in the sky. And you see our ancestors had the hieroglyphs with Saturn in the sky. That's because Saturn literally had sucked in Earth and was completely connected to it. Jupiter came through, banged Saturn and knocked it loose. Now, it tells you that Zeus is the child of Kronos. Kronos is the baby eater. Kronos was eating his babies because he found out the prophecy that he was going to have a child. And y'all always hear this story that was going to take the throne from him, and he didn't know which one it was, so he just started eating his fucking children. Isn't that spiffy? Now, Zeus is Jupiter. See how that works? So Jupiter came through and knocked Saturn loose. And now, after Jupiter knocked Saturn loose, at this particular time in Earth's history, Earth did not initially have a moon. I read a few snippets in the thing, but y'all could look that up. And there's several ancient civilizations that tell stories of a time before there was a moon in the sky. It's easy to find. Y'all can just look up ancient civilizations that spoke about not having a moon, and all kind of shit will pop up. So now, here's the thing. It all starts to make sense now. Okay, so Saturn had control of the planet after being banished from the heavens. And then the sun took over. And now you look at it from a religious standpoint. In the Old Testament was all about who? The God of the Bible, Saturn. The New Testament is all about who? The Son of God, Jesus. The son of Saturn is Jupiter. The sun took over just like the sun took over. As above, so below. So now, we're talking pre-moon, as I said. So if it's pre-moon, now we have to understand the part that I put in the video. When the moon arrived on our planet, it brought the ocean tides and the conditions with it, meaning the moon controls the ocean tides, drastically affects them. So if you had brought the moon into the planet for the first time ever, what did it do to the oceans? A la your flood. You can literally look this up right now. They're predicting in the next 10 to 30 years that the moon is going to cause another flood. Listen to what I just said. If they're predicting that a shift in the moon can cause a flood, this is a prediction that is being made by NASA and all the space scientists and all that shit right now as we speak. And the article I read is from 2022. So that means when the moon first arrives, this is where your flood comes from. Now, what is the motivation for all flood stories? A deity who is, for whatever reason, punishing humanity. Now, what about a deity that is either punishing humanity or taking over? Now, y'all heard the same thing I heard. The scientists, the researchers, not me, the researchers dropped a satellite onto the moon and it rang hollow. And they like, what the hell? Come back later, do it again, and it rang hollow for 3 hours. That means there's something inside of their family. It's the only solution, only explanation. So now, if it wasn't here originally, it's hollow on the inside, and its arrival drastically changed the ocean behavior. Somebody brought it here. Now, who's the somebody and for what purpose? Now, we can go back to what Jordan Maxwell say. Could be one of the rare, there's only like 5 white guys in existence that I really like. He's one of them. What did Jordan tell you? The mountain is called AI. I believe he said an ancient Phoenician. Now, Phoenician is Hebrew. Same thing. Do not let people lie to you. Ancient Phoenician and ancient Hebrew is the same damn thing. All right. Now that we got that clear, anybody tell you you're wrong, send them to the general. I like beating up on people scholastically. It's fun. Now, with that being said, in ancient Phoenician, what's going on, King? So in ancient Phoenician, the god of the mountain name was Sin. Sin, the mountain god. So now, if the mountain is called AI, then the god of the mountain, Mount Sinai. Now, we got to look at what happened in that scenario. Let's deal with Moses for a minute. Now, Man, I'm slipping, y'all. But I'm giving, hey, y'all got to do some homework sometime. I'm slipping, but y'all got to do some homework sometime. So anybody, y'all can do it right now. Anybody want to look up first Moses? The first Moses, or you could look up first depiction of Moses. And when you go on Google, hit images. And watch you see the very first Moses ever depicted had horns. The very first Moses depicted had horns. Now you got this thing where they're teaching you that Moses good, Israelites chosen, Egypt bad. That's the lesson. They always ignore the fact that Moses is a fucking Egyptian. Also, all you got to do is look it up. Moses had spent 40 years in Egyptian schooling. So therefore, how do you spend 40 years in a place and consider yourself a foreigner? Then you took all the teachings that you learned from that place and went somewhere and made up some laws that, anyway, let me get back to the point. Who that? Is that my son? I know that ain't my son. I think my son said I did some crazy shit. My fault, son. Damn, what I did. I be fucking up, y'all. I forgot what I did. I think I thought I responded and didn't or some shit. My fault, son. Okay, so back to Moses. When Moses goes up to the mountain and they're talking about burning bushes, Mount Sinai is a volcano. You can look it up. It's literally a volcano. And when you look at all the depictions of Moses by the mountain, you're going to see at the top, it's a volcano. They're going to show you red smoke and shit coming out the top. So you're dealing with the volcano god. Now, if you're dealing with the god of the volcano, you can look up who's the god of the volcano. Because according to the scriptures, y'all calling them Yahweh. And if you look up Yahweh, Yahweh is the moon god. But you can also find Yahweh as a volcano god. I keep telling y'all, it be the same stories, they just switched the names up. So now it makes a lot more sense, because if you look up moon god Yahweh, you'll see the connection. So if the Israelites are praying to Yahweh, and Yahweh, well, let's go back a step. The Israelites used to be the Canaanites. The Canaanites came from the bloodline of Cain, who is the son of whoever the god of the garden is, but it's not the God, obviously not. Now, the Canaanites are the Israelites. The Israelites worship several different deities, but the chief deity of the Israelites was the god El. And I've told y'all 1,000 times, El equals Saturn. So when you see Elohim, El, anytime you see El, it's Saturn. All of these Moors running around here with El in their name and all that, El is Saturn. They just don't know it. Saturn is Kronos. Kronos is the god Oh, stick with me, Buffy. Stick with me, Queen. We almost there. So when you look up L, you're going to get all these links to Saturn and Kronos. Kronos is the baby eater. Now, according to the Bible, Satan is the god of this planet. Satan is Saturn. However, Satan is a shapeshifter. This is why you see at the tree, you see a being that's half snake, half human. That is to let you know that there was a shapeshifter being in the garden. Now, the thing is, if Moses is an actual character or not, because at the exact same time as this guy Moses was supposed to be freeing the Hebrew Israelites, coincidentally, a pharaoh named Akhenaten got ran out of Egypt, and guess where he went to? Coincidentally, he went to Mount Sinai. So it's amazing how Akhenaten and Moses was there at the same time and never even knew each other. See, they're conflating this story and making it mystical and spiritual and all of this and spooky because they're hiding the one thing that they're trying to ease onto you. These gods that we're talking about are extraterrestrials, for lack of better words. I don't really like that word, but we're talking about beings from other planets. We're not using logic. They say God is from heaven. Okay, wherever that's at, it's not here. That's another realm. So when they're talking about beings, they're talking about the angels be here and there. These are other realms. So when you're saying that, like they got this thing, and I'm gonna tie this in for y'all real ugly. I'm gonna show y'all how when they're talking, I ain't probably not tonight, or maybe we got time. I'm gonna show y'all how the Anunnaki story is the same thing as the Bible story. Same characters, different names, same shit. So the biggest thing they're hiding is the extraterrestrial aspect, because they don't want you to know, or not yet. They're building up to it, that these guys that they've been bowing down to are actual fucking aliens. There you go, Chinzera. If I was supposed to get back to you, son, I apologize. I probably thought I did. I went to sleep as soon as I got off, baby. My fault. But whatever it is, you know, it's all good. So now, oh shit, what happened? I think Facebook was it not plugged in? It must not be plugged in. My phone just went out. Damn. Either way it go. All right, so now you got to really think, if the same story comes with the Anunnaki. Fuck it, we got time. Let's get it. They tell you about two brothers, Enki and Leo. And one of the biggest discussions going on right now, and I don't know why, it must be the energy, but I've been seeing all over the place, all on Clubhouse yesterday and all this week, all on my timeline on YouTube, is these talks about, is Lucifer and Satan the same being? No, they're not. This is the same story you're getting with the Enki and Leo, but they're switching the characters. You got the good brother and the bad brother. So Satan turns out to be the bad brother. You got to think all the angels are related. These are brothers and sisters. So Satan turns out to be the bad brother. But what they say about Enki and Leo, the reason why I brought them up, is because they said Enki and Leo brought the moon here with them. Oh, I bet they is messing with the video. You hear this shit I'm cooking over here? You hear what's in this pot? Inky and Enlil, according to the story that surrounds them, it says they brought the moon here. Okay, well, Enlil would be Yahweh or Satan, same character. When you look at the God of Israel and you look up the lineage of Israel and the Israelites, you can see a direct connection to this quote unquote satanic bloodline that left the garden. And the first tribe of people, see, this is the thing. If you just left the presence of the God and got banished out, the last thing you want to do is piss that God off, because you've actually seen God. That's one thing. The second thing is they said the Canaanites was worshiping other gods. How the fuck would the Canaanites know any other gods? Cain literally just came from the God, according to the story, the one true God. That's it. So how would Cain have any knowledge of any other gods? Unless he seen some before he left back yonder. So when you put it all together, and then you got to go back to the apocrypha of Adam, where Adam tell you, what I finna say, damn, I forgot just that fast. It'll come back to me. But Adam clearly says that he thinks the God in that Bible is evil. The God in the garden is evil. Now, if you didn't have a moon, Adam also talks about the flood. He says that this God is mad because certain humans are rebelling and not going along with it. And this is what pissed him off. And this is what made him decide to flood. Either way it goes, the God in the Bible is taking responsibility for the flood. We got that part. Now, mathematically speaking, what's the odds that the God in the Bible is taking responsibility for the flood? The name of that God, Yahweh, is also connected to the moon god. And it is a fact that when the moon arrived on this planet, it disrupted the ocean tides tremendously. It is also a fact that it is projected to shift tremendously again and give us one of the floods like last time. I don't believe in coincidences. I believe all of these different names have to be the same God, talking to different generations of people, and the message never changes. Serve me or be punished. Well, that's the same thing these leaders of these nations tell you. Serve us or be punished. Where is they tell you that God is love, but it's not love that we're required to give. It's fear and obedience. And you're supposed to find love through the fear and obedience. One more thing. That's what I was going to say that I remember. Adam says, he talks about the flood and tries to warn the future generations that is coming, and he talks about Noah, and he doesn't like Noah at all. He says Noah's a horrible person. Well, now he also says that Noah struck a deal with this God, and this God said that if you will continually multiply and give me more people that will worship me, I give all the land divided up and give it to you and your sons. The thing is this: they intentionally make sure that they let you know that that Noah was albino. The description that they give you, you can form no other conclusion if you're using your brain that Noah is an albino. Now, this is important because they tell you, according to the scriptures, that Satan's desire is to two things. He does the opposite of God, and his desire is to be higher than the Most High, he says. So now, the first thing I want to talk about is, and this hit me the other day, and I was like, whoa. Let's look at the eclipse. And the sun is like 4 times the moon. But the eclipse allows the moon to completely cover the sun. I will exalt myself above all, and I will be as high as the Most High. So the most dominant life force in existence is the sun. And at certain periodical points, the moon completely covers it. Which, if it wasn't for angles and shit, it wouldn't even be possible. So this is a carefully calculated process. Now, they're going to tell you it does all of these things and it has all of these benefits. But remember, the planet was alive for billions of years before the moon got here. And it did just fine. So now, the other thing is, when you start to put the story together and then you think about all the different pieces, something happened. And the more I start to read these stories, the more I start to believe that there's a supernatural / multi-dimensional aspect to what the scriptures are telling us. The names of the characters don't really even matter because I think those have been interchanged 1,000 times. But I do feel like this biblical story is a mixture with the Anunnaki story. God allegedly lives in the clouds and controls everything in the sky. Okay, they're called the Anunnaki. Their leader was Anu. Anu is the sky god. So, and the sky god had 2 sons that he gave dominion over the planet. Okay, well, the Bible pretty much says the same thing. If you banish Satan to earth, see, we don't pay attention to the wordplay. Why would you take such an evil creature that disrupted heaven? Heaven is the ultimate paradise. According to the scripture, this dude started a war in heaven and was banished to earth and given his own realm called hell, where he get to punish people. But he gets to punish people who offend his daddy. Didn't he just go to war with his daddy? And now he gets to punish people that offend his daddy. So if that was going to be the job, then why the hell even get into it with Pops in the first place? But now you got these brothers that get dominion over the planet. And you got this name that we keep hearing, Lucifer, the bringer of light. We know light is knowledge. So we're looking for an angel, according to the scripture, that brought, which part makes no sense, Sarah? Now, we're looking for an angel or that brought light, which is information. Now, when you go to the story of Enki and Lil wanted to enslave humanity and destroy them, just like the God in the Bible. Enki wanted to save them and he actually instilled the intelligence factor into humans, according to the story, because he felt like they could be more than what they was and not just slaves. So he snuck and added an extra little oomph into our gene pool to make us intelligent and give us the same intelligence they had. So you see the parallels in the story. Oh, yeah. I just wanted to make sure it was clarity, Queen. That's all. So this is where you got to read in between the lines and make sense out of what's on the table. So now, what if this whole, because you got to keep in mind, if Satan was banished from heaven, how does he walk back in there and have a conversation about Job? And what was meant by you're going to be the lowest of the low, you're going to crawl on your belly for all of your days? What we're talking about is you sat next to the God, according to scripture. You're the highest of height. And now I've reduced you to walk amongst our creation as a man. That's crawling on your belly. It's a metaphor. That's the lowest of low. To be sitting next to the throne and then be reduced to creation, to one of the little things I created to see how it works out. But you can't be at war with God and then walk into heaven, and then you have to keep in mind in the story of Job, Satan doesn't bring up Job. God does. God said, have you tried my servant Job? Why? Why bring Job to this man's attention? For what purpose? And then they get into this cat and mouse game over other people's livelihood. Like, yeah, I think I can break him. I bet you can't. Man, I'll break him. He don't really love you. Man, look, you can do anything you want. Just don't kill him. I got to see this. What? Why would you play that type of... He said, Job is my most loyal. He is perfect and upright in all his ways. Why would you take someone... Why you don't get one of these scragglers who barely love you? Test him. Why would you take the one who is perfect and upright in his ways? Kill his kids, take his far everything. And then we supposed to feel good about the story because it said later on, God gave him back all he had lost. Why is God playing this type of fucking game with the devil? The only way this makes sense is if that God in the garden is not the God. Then all of these things where we don't got no answer for, and we just be like, the Lord works in mysterious ways. We could throw that out and start giving some real answers. You don't take your creation, lock them in an armed-guarded facility. Come on, man. Think about it. This is not the God. You're listening to something completely different, and you're just not putting the pieces together. Hit the like, hit the share. Yahweh. Now, before I go there, something else is synonymous with this fall of Satan. What kind of sadistic game is it, God? No purpose needed if you know he loyal. Exactly. Like, I'm not going to take the person who listened to me the most and punish them more than anybody else just to prove a point to my hard-headed ass son who damn near tore up heaven, not listening. And now he going to waltz his ass back in here and want to play mind games with me? Come on. Yahoo, Zone 1, what's happening, family? Come on, man. This is a weird story. Until you make sense of, you start pulling back all of these layers and you find out we're talking about the moon god. That's who we're really talking about. The moon god. Now, in my opinion, this God hijacked a realm. I don't believe that this God actually created people, because something in the Apocrypha of Adam caught my attention. He said when this God created them the first time, he got jealous because he realized that they was more greater and more divine than him and got jealous of them. So my thing is, they said we were more divine than him. And he saw it and didn't like it. Now, this Anunnaki story says they found humans and adjusted them. That's what I'm more inclined to think. I don't think this God created humans. I think this God decided to tamper with humans. I believe the aspect about the war. And I think maybe it's a possibility if you say this God got kicked out of certain realms because and that's something else they said in the video I was trying to get to y'all. I wish y'all could have seen it, because there's so much shit that we talk about here that was like that we be right about. And they were talking about the creator. What God really means is it's a universal mind. The creator is consciousness. It's a universal consciousness. It's like we all know what right and wrong is. Now we decide to do what the fuck we want to do because we decide to, but it's very few people that do something they shouldn't and don't know it while they're doing it. That's the universal mind. That's the God thought. So what you have with whatever God is conscious energy. The most purest form of energy and consciousness in existence, because all you have is energy is not created, it's everywhere. So it took whatever process it had to. I would say, since everything evolves, then energy evolved from some state to another. And once it evolved, it became conscious. And now, once it becomes conscious, anything that happens after that moment is a universal thought. And everything created after that moment would be connected by that same thought process. So within everything that has ever been created, the universal mind, the God, is in it. It's impossible not to be, because God is not a physical being. God is not a physical being. So anything God creates through thought. That's why we say it's a cold-blooded piece in the Bible that nobody ever talks about. And my first real Bible teacher, shouts out to Mr. Machiavelli, wherever he at, but Machiavelli taught me the Bible in prison. Now, I don't want y'all to think I'm a prison Bible scholar. I ain't been locked up in 20-some years. So since then, I done did so much studying, it's ridiculous. But that first lesson came from Mr. Machiavelli in the Bible. And you gotta, you ever heard the poles shift every 10 to 12,000 years? They shift every 10 to 12,000 years. You talking about the like the North and South poles? I don't subscribe to the circular rotating globe theory. I don't necessarily subscribe to the flat earth thing either, but I definitely don't think the world is a spinning ball. So yeah, I feel like yes and no. Not in the aspect that they're describing it from the globe spinning, but the planet is alive. So the planet makes adjustments however often to suit its needs to stay functioning the way it's taught to function. So hopefully that answers your question. So I believe in it to an extent, but just not off of the spinning globe theory. I don't subscribe to the spinning globe theory. But yeah, so when we put this in perspective, we just have to understand that an actual thing happened, and all of it ain't gonna be something that you could just easily explain. There's a supernatural aspect to our existence. You were created by a universal thought process, and that universal thought process is in everything. Now, what happens is the creator has to express itself. Like what y'all be saying all the time, you got to get it out. Mental health is real. Okay, well, mental health is real. So the creator is smarter than us, and it don't hold things in. It expresses itself in every aspect. So when you see something that's called a evil entity or demonic spirit or a bad something, that is just an incomplete expression of the creator. Meaning, like, you can't understand anything you don't explore. The best teacher is experience. So all of these things to exist, anything, no matter what it is, in order for it to exist, the creator has to experience it first. So when you're looking at murder, death, anger, whatever the case it is, you wouldn't be able to understand it had the creator not experienced it. So the creator lives vicariously through its creations, like all artists. When you paint a picture, you show it to people, maybe you get paid off of it, but you keep that and you're living through it. That picture is an expression of your mind. If you're playing a sport, the moves that you do on the court or on the football field, that's just an expression of what you're thinking and how you see the game. Everything is thought. You can't do anything before you think. So that's why, that's what I was going to get to. This is a cold piece in the Bible, and y'all got to think about this. In the Garden of Eden story, after Eve is pulled from Adam's rib, it says, and Adam slept. But it never at any point says Adam woke up and blah, 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 blah. And then people say, well, you just assume he woke up. No. Because if I go to the pastor going to say, don't put nothing in the book and don't take nothing out of it. So if God didn't tell us Adam woke up, it was for a reason. Not because God just assumed we would know. Because God is smart enough to know you shouldn't assume anything. See, we got to play this game to figure things out. Now, I know that God is not the God, but we got to play this game to figure things out. This is how we find the gaps in the story when we look at it thoroughly. I believe it's flat, and before the shift, we escaped Armageddon, but at war trying to come back to save us now. Last shift was 10,000 years ago. Okay, when you say, look at this, look at this logo right here, and I put a crown on it. Now, Google a picture of Asgard and take Asgard, crop it out, and put it up against my logo. The planet is got a dome across the top, and it's an oblong sphere. It can't be flat Earth because there's inner Earth. So it has to be an oblong spherical thing because you got to go to the inner Earth. There's definitely a dome on the top. This is the biggest trick that they're telling you. One of the biggest lies that they're telling you is about the placement of the planets. The planets are not light years away. That's a fucking lie. The planets are also not inhabited. The moon, in my honest opinion, is how they got here. And it hovers over us and works as a big ass, what I'm trying to say, all of the signals they're running through there. I ain't really get my nap today. I'm sleepy as hell, y'all. I'm losing my words. Like the frequency, what they use in the Wi-Fi, how they're controlling everything, how you can have all of this. I think that's the mainframe. You got to have a mainframe. You got to have a terminal. The main terminal is the moon. They're running everything from there. In my honest opinion, that's the room when you say the Matrix and they show you the architect and he's sitting in the all-white room with all of the screens. In my honest opinion, that's what the inside of the moon looked like, or at least one of the rooms in there. You have to have a point where you're running everything from. This planet definitely got fucking hijacked. There's no other, because otherwise, then it leaves, if you go with any other narrative, it leaves too many stories that don't make sense. Because at first we thought that they got us to sit on our hands for 400 years about a prophecy that says at the end of 400 years, you're going to regain the glory and all this type of shit. Okay, well, the 400 years was 4 years ago, and it ain't getting no better. And it ain't no clear-cut sign of it getting no power. See, they start giving us perks and bigger checks and things like that, and then they're gonna make us equate that with the Bible verse, and then y'all gonna say it ain't nowhere near like it was. So we just Yahweh slowly bringing us back to our glory. No. If you really know what's going on in the world and you really understand, it's getting worse, and especially getting worse for you. They're just masquerading under better. It's getting fucking worse. Because Anytime you continually create devices to think for humans, the less humans think. We literally have devices that do all of our thinking for us. There's nothing that we need to do anymore other than just be slaves. Anything you want to try to figure out, they got a way that you can just get entertained by a whole bunch of other shit. There's no definitive way to actually make a change on a large scale, but they keep you thinking that you're free. You're free to do anything you want except for challenge the system of slavery. Think about that. So if you're free to, they're still censoring people on social media platforms. In 2023, they're censoring people on social media platforms. So if you can be censored in 2023, and they don't even hide it, you could blatantly be telling the truth, and they'll hit you with the fact checker like you stupid. So in a world, in a society where you can do anything but challenge oppression, the only thing that means is by logic, they're going to slowly take more and more things away from you. Why wouldn't they? They already got you scared to challenge the system. So as long as they got you scared to challenge the system, why would they allow you to grow into a position where you could get brave and actually do it? No, they're giving you more money, but they're making you more docile. So the programming on especially quote unquote black culture is so lousy. The things that they offer for black people to get interested in, by the time you get these millions of dollars that you want to have so bad, you ain't gonna revolution shit. You're gonna buy fancy cars, houses, and taking big butts or guys in gray sweatpants. That's what you're gonna do with your money. Have you ever seen such a narcissistic society? See, we think we just being cool. Our life consists of bragging to the world every day how good we're doing, or bombarding the world with how horrible it is and how we don't like this, that, and the third. Every second of every day is about us with this device in our hand that chronicles our every thought and move. When we taking selfies, what does that really mean? I want the world to see how attractive I am. And y'all gonna say, what's wrong with that? I didn't say anything is wrong with it. The question is, why do you need it? See, we gotta get out of that space of right and wrong, and let's just talk that talk. We ain't talk about right or wrong. Why do you need that validation? I say this all the time to women, and women don't agree, and I know I'm finna get some flack for this, but it's a logical thing. So like, I see women all the time in a grocery store or in public places with a wedding ring on their finger, they children with them, and they pants so fucking tight, it looked like they just left the latest rap video. Now, y'all got all of these terms of saying, I'm objectifying women, I'm trying to control women, and I'm not letting them express their femininity, and you could say all of that. That's fine. Feel how you want to feel about me. I just need to understand something. When a woman commits to her man, her husband, and then he put this ring on your finger, it's not about whether you're being oppressed or not. It's about what is your desire for someone other than your husband to look at you the way your husband does. Now, see, on my channel, we can't play these games where y'all gonna try to come up with all of these excuses talking about I wear what make me feel good, and men too thirsty, they shouldn't be looking. No, we're not gonna play those games. You're committed to your husband. Your figure is to entice your husband. If you're wearing something out and you're not with your husband and it's provocative, Why? The same reason why he needs the latest shoes or all these sounds in his car or whatever the case may be to get everybody else's attention. And then we get lost in these identities we create for ourselves. I use these two analogies all the time. What is a black man stating when he gets on a social media and he take a picture with a big ass stack of money? And here's the thing. I could post a picture with some of the deepest information you ever heard about black people. And a guy at the same time could post that big ass stack of money. We could both have all the same friends on our friends list. That big ass stack of money is going to get 100 likes down there every time. I see it all the time. But this information, it's not that important to y'all. But you're the same people that want to say the world ain't right and want to say that things are racist and people don't treat you right. When are you going to start treating yourself right? When are you going to start holding yourself accountable for yourself? The easiest thing in the world to do is to find out what's wrong with somebody else. That's easy. I could just look at somebody, develop something I don't like, and complain about it. But the real thing is, watch this. If I ask you, do you live in the past? Are you stuck in the past? The average person going to tell me no. But if I say, everybody listening to me right now, I don't care where you at, you're stuck in the past and you're self-centered. Most people will argue that. Okay. Then I say, what do 95% of the people on this planet do as soon as they wake up? Check your cell phone. The first thing you do when you wake up, I hear you, it's so whack to show our beautiful bodies in such ugly lights. I gotta start. I be slacking, y'all. Okay, so here's what we finna do. Bow. There go Dave Wilson. I gotta start. I be cooking so heavy, I be forgetting about y'all, but I want y'all to read shit too. This was some good comments from the guy. Then the Queen said totally agree. And then I hear you, it's so whack to show our beautiful bodies in such ugly lights and pretending to have wealth as a sickness on our people. All right, just to get caught up with, I be forgetting about over there sometimes. And these things are facades that we're caught up in. So like, if you wake up with your significant other, and the first thing most people do, even if they're in the bed together, they wake up and they look at their cell phone. That means you're stuck in the past because everything that's on your cell phone has happened already. So the first thing you do when you wake up is live in the past, and you expect your future to progress. The first thing you do when you wake up is get stuck in the past. The second thing you do is entertain your ego. Take a scroll, look at this, look at that, see what interests you. Then you put something up there to get the day started. This is all ego driven. None of it really has to do with anything. Now, the exception is for those that are facilitating their businesses through their cell phone. But you still wake up and live in the past. You don't wake up and check your business. You wake up and check the phone. Then you deal with the business aspect of it. So we have to understand that we're programmed to behave in ways that are contradictory to the things that we say we want. the things that we say we want, we say we want truth. But most people don't want truth because the truth is offensive. The truth is not carved out for your emotional aspect. So, like, one of our biggest issues as a people is that we're being misled. Our ego is too far in place to take in new information. Then how do we undo whatever information is holding us back? Why do we come into new situations with old thoughts? If I say that I care about what happens with black people, if somebody asks me, do you care about black people? Do you would you fight for black people if you could? I say, yeah. So why haven't you? And I can make up something and say, well, I just haven't really been. And people always got a reason why they haven't began the process. But if something happened to somebody you personally care for tonight, you'll change everything and get right to it. It has to affect you personally for you to go into action. So we tell people we love them all the time, but the love is conditional because this love goes as far as whatever my personal thing is. It's just like we love God, but we're really just scared of him. That's what I mean. Like your love goes as far as whatever your personal thing is. And then once that personal thing gets tampered with, everything changes. They told us that this God loves us. But you can see this God repeatedly murder. And then we see this God reach the conclusion that I'm so distraught over what I created that I'm going to. See, you have to understand. We just mull over things. So the flood. Y'all see the pictures are fucking horrific. The flood is people in water like drowning, like you're God. You couldn't have just sonic boom, it's over with. You drown. Do you know how long it takes to drown? Stop watching movies. It takes about 5 minutes to drown. So the whole world, the whole planet sat there gasping for breath for 5 to 10 minutes. While God did what? Ignore the sounds? The whole world was screaming agony. If I'm the creator, at some point, I got to snap out of it like, wait, those are my children. No, he went through with it and drowned everybody except for 8 people, according to the story. And you could fix your mind to make sense out of that. Because when it's our favor, we bend the rules. When it's in our favor, we bend the rules all the time. Logic go out the window. When it's in our favor, we bend the rules. You don't get to drown your children. I don't give a fuck who you are. There's no justification for drowning your kids. Now, show you how wicked these people are. What did Satan, what did Satan offer Jesus? According to the story, he said, I will make you extremely rich. I will give you all the riches of the world. Right? Which means on this planet, Satan is in charge of wealth, according to the scriptures. So that means, wouldn't that mean that when you find where you find extreme amounts of wealth is probably where you'll find the devil? See, y'all got to make this thing make sense. You can't just be moving and grooving and not thinking. If Satan is the god of this planet, and Satan told Jesus, look over the mountaintops, I'll give you all of it. I'll give you riches beyond riches. How can Satan guarantee that unless he's in charge of the money? So, we're seeing all of this money floating around, but we ain't seeing too many godly beings with it. It's enough rich people to make sure nobody ever goes poor again. Do y'all realize that? With the amount of rich people on this planet, if Hollywood by itself, you could take the top 20 Hollywood actors and throw in, the top 10 athletes from both sports. There's no more world hunger, no more poverty, and they still rich. Why haven't they thought of that? Unless somebody else is controlling the money. Now, it just coincidentally, the quote-unquote richest man on the planet dressed like the devil for Halloween. Isn't that a quinky dink? Now, what was the devil trying to do in the garden? Remember, he didn't create Adam and Eve. He was tweaking them. Trying to do what? He was trying to remove their consciousness and just make them slaves. He wanted them to forget their divinity. So he kept doing a series of tests and experiments on them to get them to forget their divinity. Now, what does Elon Musk want? Elon Musk wants to put that in your head. The FDA just approved Neuralinks to do human trials. So they get to, look at how disgusting that looks. They get to drill a hole in your fucking head and put that little device on there. Now, if you look at that device, what is that device? That device is the number 8, the recycle symbol. I told y'all what that means. Now, Elon Musk Neuralinks is hiring a clinical trial doctor as it moves towards testing chip implants in humans. Clinical trials in humans. Now, look how they're going to have you hooked up. They're going to put this box on your brain. And now, once they do that, you do realize that's going to make you half man, half computer. You see how this thing worked? They showed it to you in a movie first, and they made sure it was black people so that black people could get okay with the idea. Because remember, we don't get no superheroes, so let's get these niggas a superhero. But we're going to make them a science experiment, and his daddy the one did it. What did Elon Musk say? He said he's so confident in the product, he'd do it on his children. So the daddy, a Cyclops, and that Cyclops is important. The daddy of the Cyclops turned him into that half man, half robot thing. And what's the message today, boys and girls? This is the future. This is where we headed. And you're going to have superhuman abilities. Wow. This is a fucking abomination to take the creation of the creator and say it needs to be upgraded. Do you understand this? You are a divine piece of the creative force of the universe. You are directly from the mind of the creator of the universe. And these people who tell you they're Christians are convincing you that the brilliance of the creator's creation needs to be upgraded by men. The brilliance of the divine creation needs to be upgraded by men. These people tell you they believe in God and they're Christians, but they think that that very God that they worship kind of fucked up a little bit. So we got to do a couple things. We got to turn half of them into boy, girl, boys, and we got to turn the other half into robot android things. And real quick, I'm going to show you something. When you go to the Bible and you got the story about David and Goliath, what does David represent? David represents the Star of David, the Christian faith, Saturn. What does the Cyclops represent? I told you, when you go to the ancient Egypt and Africa, the that Eye-Ra that you see look like a backwards R with the eye in there, that's what your pineal gland look like. So the reason why the ancient Egyptians used to use the one eye was synonymous with God, because God is the universal thought process. So the genius aspect of your brain is your pineal gland. That's where your genius is at. So they used to say that was the seat of God. Because if God is intellect and your genius sits right there, then that is directly from the mainframe of God. So when you see David killing the one-eyed Cyclops, that is the death of the pineal gland and the uplifting of the Saturnian religion. Stop playing with me, y'all. I do this. These people lie. They never fucking tell the truth. And if y'all can see my shirt, I got a cute little dinosaur on it, and it says they never tell the truth. It's like they got rid of the fucking dinosaurs and the giants. I say that for another day. Now, back to Elon, the richest man on the planet. And after this, I wish I had wait, hold on. I think I keep forgetting, y'all. I got bombs. I don't be hitting y'all ass with these bombs. I'm finna drop this bomb on this one. So now, hold on. Okay, so now let's look at Elon Musk one more time. Satan said, I will give you all the riches and anything you desire. The wealthiest man on the planet just coincidentally dressed up like the Baphomet, aka Satan, aka El, aka Saturn, aka Yahweh. Now, Elon Musk spells his name E-L-O-N. Elon spells his name E-L-O-N. The wealthiest man on the planet that Satan is the god of spells his name E-L-O-N. And it just hit me out the blue, and I damn it threw up. Hold on, that ain't it. If I don't got it, I'm going to be so upset with myself. Is this it? There we go. All you got to do is add a Y to Elon's name, and it is an epithet of the God of Israel in the Hebrew Bible. El, remember, anytime you see E-L, it's Saturn. E-L-O-N, they just add a Y, is usually rendered in English as the Most High. Similarly, in the Septuagint, God the Highest. Why would Elon Musk's parents name him that? And not only that, do you understand that I have been studying this for about 20 years, and this is my first time hearing of this guy by the name of E-L-Y-O-N, Elion, which means unless you go deep as I go, you ain't just gonna know that name. His parents didn't just, let's just name our son like an ancient Hebrew. Now, Look at the Tesla logo. Look at the Tesla logo. Now look at that. You see the rim with the beam coming down. Back to the logo. Rim with the beam coming down. One more time. The rim with the beam coming down. Rim with the beam coming down. All right, my fault, y'all. I've been dying to do that. So, as I said at the end of my video, let's see if we can sum this all up. The wealthiest religion on the planet, the wealthiest religious figures on the planet are the Jews. The Jews can trace their lineage back to the Canaanites. The Canaanites worshipped several deities. All of those deities were into child sacrifice. Under this religion, it has the most pedophiles on the planet. This Canaanite supreme deity, his name was El. El equals Saturn. Saturn equals Satan. At the beginning of the inception of this planet, we had no moon. It is a scientific fact that when the moon arrived, it drastically affected the ocean and the waters of this planet. In the last 10 years or so, science, modern science, scientists of all different walks of science have reached the conclusion that the moon is hollow. If the moon is hollow, then something's on the inside of it. So we have a hollow something that didn't used to be on our planet, which means somebody brought it here. My guess would be they fucking drove it here. Now, we also know for a fact, as I said, when the moon came, it fucked up the water. We also know for a fact, all early civilizations speak of a great flood over the planet. Didn't have a moon. Once we got it, it affected the waters. All ancient cultures talk about a flood. This is a 2+2 moment. Now, the God of the moon is also the biblical God, Yahweh. He's also the God that, according to him, he said, I spoke to Moses at Mount Sinai. I'm the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but they did not know me as Yahweh. They knew me as El. This is what the scriptures say. So the scripture says Yahweh and El is the same person. And real scholarship says El is Saturn. Now, currently, as we speak, the rings on Saturn are depleting, which would be synonymous with Satan, his banishment from beauty and losing his rule in the heavens and losing his position in the heavens. Now, that flood allegedly, one family was saved. That family just happened to be a family of albino, or at least the daddy was albino. The wife was Egyptian, so she probably was my color. Now, they go to East Eden, aka the Caucasus Mountains, an albino guy. Our ancestors tell of a story of when we got trapped in the ice age and lost our pigmentation. Science says that every race came from the black woman in Africa. So when we put it all together, this God got pissed because he couldn't completely oppress the melanated people on this planet. So he attempted to get rid of them and start over with an albino because he realized that this is going to deteriorate the original race and get me a different race. When he realized that some people actually survived, he got pissed off and got on Noah's case about it. So you're dealing with Yahweh, the moon god, who came through, flooded your planet, and made you all slaves. And this is why you can go back to all of the old speakers from the 70s and 80s, and almost all of the legendary speakers did a lecture called "What If God Was the Devil?" I'm on the Late Show, and I forgot to even label mine. I supposed to took my place in history with the rest of the greats, because all of the greats that you can think have done "What If God Was the Devil?" or "God is the Devil," or something to that effect. And according to Adam and his own writings, the God in the Garden of Eden is not the real God, and he's a slave driver. I know we cook tonight. I don't never go all the way till it's over with. The guy who owns Tesla, he is I know one thing, they killed Tesla and stole all his stuff. If I'm not mistaken, no, I'm not gonna put Elon with anybody because I believe Elon is an incarnate. I think Elon is an incarnated deity. That's my personal opinion. I got some evidence to back it up, but that's just what I think. So whatever they did, he was born and bred to be who he was, and they killed Tesla and stole all his shit. And here we are now. Knowledge is the only real power. Information is the only real currency. I love y'all, and I'm gone. It's all right. My phone died a long time ago. Did all right, though. For the most part, it was. He couldn't figure out how to get the videos down low, but
on the bottom part.
Yeah, but it's cool. I told him don't worry about it because I pretty much memorized the information from what I wanted.
Okay.
I just like when I find something that like solidifies the shit I've been teaching. Because I be finding shit on my own. People don't give it to me. I reach these conclusions that about the Garden of Eden and my take on it. It was my own conclusions I reached. Right. So when I run into a white boy that's teaching the exact same shit I teach, and I never heard of him before, right? That means I'm on the right page.
Right.
Then I found something that I never found before. Yep.